All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday, January 30th. We got a 5-game NBA slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. We'll talk about them. I'll give you my lean on the spread. I'll give you my lean on the total. We'll also talk about any player props that we like within the games. But as always, all of my final plays, so what I'm rolling with myself, those plays are going to be located in the pinned comment. So make sure to keep an eye on that. Last night, now, woulda, shoulda, coulda, whatever, but you're telling me we don't bet against Luka, one of the best players on the planet. We have a positive night. I'm not surprised. So, luckily, those are two X's next to Luka's lines there, but they're each a half unit play. So, technically speaking, units-wise, we go 2-2, lose a little bit off the top, but yeah. Womp womp, egg on my face for betting against Luka. That was kind of stupid, I guess. That being said, for the first, I want to say quarter and a half, he had 7 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and I was like, all right, we're cooking. I blink, and all of a sudden he's well on his way to cashing his overs, and I was like, all right, that's Luka for you. So we own that one. In terms of our ride of the day, the news gets a little bit better here. Let's pump in some crowd noise here for Travis. He had Brook Lopez over 11.5 points. Brook Lopez finishes with, I believe it was 19 points, or at the end of the game. That's when I checked 19 at least points from Brook Lopez. So shout out to Travis. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, all you have to use is that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. And I'm jumping on board with one person's pick, giving you a shout out in the next video, win or loss, and on my Twitter at EvGuyBoston. But if you win, we continue to ride with you. So Travis, we'll ride with you again if you drop one in the comments today. If you don't, we have to pick someone else. So guys, get those hashtag ride of the days in the comments, and I'm scanning and scouting and seeing who is on fire in the comments, so that when your number is called, you'll be ready. So use those hashtags in the ride of the day. But let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into game number 1 here. We have the Hawks taking on the Lakers. So the Lakers, coming off of a loss last night to the Houston Rockets. They lose that game 135-119. And Atlanta, coming off of a close win a couple nights ago against Toronto, they win 126-125. Now, the Lakers are on a back-to-back. I don't see LeBron or Anthony Davis on the injury report as of right now, but obviously something you're going to want to monitor. In fact, at the time of recording, it is really early out, but we don't see any Lakers player props really available right now, except for Anthony Davis lines. But nonetheless, we'll still talk about it here. DeJounte Murray also on the injury report for the Hawks. But in this spot, I just think that it's a little bit too many points. I know the Lakers are on a back-to-back, and that doesn't sound like the best of, the best of situations this year either. They're 1-6 this season against the spread on back-to-backs, but the Hawks I can't get behind them laying 5 points. So I'll lean Lakers plus the points. So man, 1-6 against the spread this season on back-to-backs is a damning stat. So that probably just sticks as a lean. In terms of the total, 246. I originally thought this was a little bit too high, and it is a high number, but when you think about it, if the Lakers just let up 135 to the Rockets, there could be a lot of points scored in this ball game. So I'll slightly lean towards the over, but neither one of those picks, guys, if you were to come with two bullet points on how you could say the other side of it, I really wouldn't argue you. This is not the best spot here. If this was Lakers with a day's rest or something, I'd love them +5, but on a back-to-back really, really is a killer. Now, from a player prop perspective, we don't have the line out yet, but it could be one that we cashed yesterday. D'Angelo Russell over 2.5 3-pointers made. I like this spot from the Hawks. Allow plenty of threes overall here. Against point guards, they allow a decent amount of threes as well, but the 10th most in the league over the last 7. So yeah, we'll wait for those odds and lines to come out. We had to pay a little bit of juice yesterday, so if it's too juicy and too much of a negative odds play, then maybe we skip it. But keep an eye on the pinned comment. I really wouldn't mind rolling the dice on that one again. All right, next up, we have the Boston Celtics taking on the Indiana Pacers. Celtics rally from behind to beat New Orleans last night. They were down by a bunch multiple times during that game. As a Celtics fan, pretty glad that they come back and win that game. Now they take on the Pacers in a back-to-back spot. The Celtics, no stranger to playing back-to-backs and no strangers to covering in back-to-backs either. They are 5-3 against the spread in back-to-backs this season, and obviously we love them at home. And if Tyrese Halliburton doesn't get the go, I think actually him and Miles Turner on the injury report. So if those guys don't play, it's like I could still lay the points with the Celtics. Yes, 7 is a decent amount, but they literally came from behind and beat New Orleans last night by 6. 6. You know what I mean? Like, that 7 points isn't a lot for a talented team like the Celtics. So as of right now, I lean towards the Celtics. I want to see the injury report play out because I mentioned those two guys on the Indiana side of things. Benedict Mathurin also on the injury report there, as is Smith for the Pacers. So they do have a decent amount of guys that are listed on the injury report. All guys that do play minutes. And then Kristaps Porzingis, who missed last night, is listed on the injury report for Boston. Before we talk about the total, I do want to talk about a player prop or two that I like in this spot. So Indiana allowing the second most points to point guards and the fifth and the fourth most rebounds to point guards over the last 4 games here. And I think Jrue Holiday is kind of hitting his stride in his last 20 games here. He's hit the over for his rebounds, points and rebounds line in 60% of those games. On the season, he's hit it in 53%. Head-to-head against the Pacers here. So this year, back in early, I guess it was early January, he just had a really full minutes allotment there and hit 27 points, 21 points, 6 rebounds. So I really don't mind the spot there for him. They've played the Pacers 4 times. He's hit it twice, that being one of them. So yes, he's come up short a couple times, but I think Jrue Holiday's really hitting his offensive stride with the catch and shoot corner threes and everything like that. So I kind of like him to start building a little momentum. I also don't mind his points line. It's at 14.5. Jrue Holiday can give you 15. The problem is, and I like to give you guys both sides of the story, right? The problem is if Kristaps comes back, then all of a sudden you're looking at a situation in which Jrue Holiday is going to go from, I don't know what, 10 field goal attempts or 15 field goal attempts back down to 9 or whatever it may be, right? So that's obviously a spot in which we're going to see tons of field goal attempts kind of be stripped away from him. And then another player prop, I don't mind looking at Kristaps Porzingis's over in threes if we can get a good line on that as well. I don't think that if Miles Turner plays or even if they bring in any backups, they have a really big that can stretch the floor as well with Kristaps. I know Turner can play kind of on the perimeter, but that's more on the offensive end. So I don't mind Kristaps being able to shoot from the outside as well. But we don't have him ruled in yet. We'll have to wait to see if a line comes out. But those are just 2 spots that I really don't mind in this game today. And then in terms of a total, this one I went back and forth on, but I do think that, you know, based on, I guess you could say these 2 teams playing, like, there should be a lot of points scored in this game. So like I said, they've played 4 times this year, and 3 of them have been high scoring, 2 of them have gone over this number, and just 1 of them stayed below. So I do think that this could be a good spot to get into, maybe like 245. So slight lean towards the over, but you have the Celtics here who back-to-backs, they're 4-4 to the over-under, so nothing really to go on there. And then you have the Pacers who their defense just has not looked all that great. I guess you could say all year long, but as of late, like they let up 131 to that Phoenix team and lost that game, you know, or won that game, excuse me. So they scored a bunch of points. Maybe their offense is finally clicking, which again leads just to an over, because I don't think the Celtics team on a back-to-back is really going to buckle down and sort of like, you know, squish them with their thumb defensively. I think that it's going to be more of a scoring game. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, give me the Celtics as well as the over and then those player props that we talked about. All right, guys, before we continue on with the rest of the slate, I always get the question, how can I, you know, support you? How can I do this? We love the videos. Guys, I don't really want you to donate or anything like that, right? I mean, if you do, great, but I'm not asking you to do that. What I would like, if you guys do want to support, get something. I would like you guys to get something in return, and that is some Fade Me gear. So if you do want to support what we're doing here and everything like that, check out fademe.store. We just launched the new Gambler collection here. We take out the vowels, looks kind of cool, looks kind of clean, comes in multiple colors, guys. But go ahead and check it out, fademe.store. We make really good merch over here. You can read the comments of people that buy it. We have plenty of styles out there, and we're yet to get any real negative feedback on this brand. We started it, I believe, in August, so August 1st was the launch date, guys, but go check it out, fademe.store. Again, this is kind of in response to the, how can I support and do this? Do you have a Cash App? If you guys are going to donate or give money or use your hard-earned bread and sort of give back to the channel, I want you guys to get something in return. Sure, that ends up being less money in my pocket, but that's not what it's about, right? I want you guys to get some sort of tangible product. So if you guys do want to support and do want to jump on this journey with us and support what we're doing here and get some great merch at the same time, check out fademe.store. We had a blast with the live stream yesterday. We dropped the promo code live during the live stream, and that was a hit. So guys, coming up, maybe we'll drop some secret promo codes, but if you do want to support the channel and support the merch here, go ahead and check it out. Pick up some of that new Gambler collection, because we have a couple new designs coming in the next 2 months or so with that sort of theory in mind, adding to that collection. But fademe.store, that link will be in the pinned comment. All right, next up, we have the Knicks taking on the Utah Jazz here. I think this is going to be a good game. Both teams coming off of Excuse me. Both teams coming off of a back-to-back here. Utah loses 114 to 147 to Brooklyn last night. We told you guys we read that line, right? I kind of wish that we made that final play. In fact, yesterday's video, if you watch that back, we were right on a lot of things that we left as leans, which sometimes can be the kiss of death here, because it's like, we're right about it, just not confident enough to make the final play. But nonetheless here, Knicks still playing good basketball without Julius Randle. I don't know how much weight I want to put into a big win over Charlotte. Like, I think I could beat Charlotte with my right hand tied behind my back. I'm a righty, so I do think that has a little bit something to do with how they crushed them. I'm going to lean towards Utah in this spot. I like the Knicks. I like what they got going on. DiVincenzo steps up. Brunson's a beast. But Julius Randle's a main part of that team. And now you have a Utah team that was playing really good basketball, and they're kind of in limbo right now. Like, they're kind of figuring themselves out, and they're on the road. They go back and play at home pretty soon, too, in a rough home stretch. Philly, Milwaukee, then OKC. Like, I could see them saying, all right, let's just get a win here, because nothing's guaranteed in the next 3 days or so. Whereas New York, this is I think it's the first of a few home games here as well, so they're back after a game against Charlotte. I just like the spot for Utah a little bit more. Now, if you're on the Knicks side of things, I'm not like too hard pressed to try and convince you otherwise, but I will say, like, it's at some point that the time's ticking. Like, no Julius Randle. They're going to play good teams where they notice that miss. Charlotte, you don't need to notice Julius Randle's miss. Utah, if they're fired up, if they do want to get back into winning basketball, I do think that this could be a spot in which they kind of just play better than the Knicks overall, I guess. So also New York 3-6 on back-to-backs this season. Utah 4-3-1 against the spread. So one of these teams has been a better back-to-back team as well. But again, I don't know if I'm fully trying to like convince you otherwise, but give me Utah plus the points. I might even split the, plus the points. Maybe we buy 1.5 to get, even more points, more juice, but then we split that unit and go money line as well, because we get some good odds for money line as well for Utah today. But nonetheless, that's where my head is at in this spot. Now, in terms of a total, I still think this is going to be an under, because the Knicks still, even without Randle, are going to play at their pace. They're playing in the third slowest pace this season. Not this season, actually, in the last 10 games, excuse me. And I think that they continue to do that. Like, this defense has been very good overall, even with or without Randle in the game and a quarter that they've had without him. And Utah's offense, it's really, really good. But even if they go out there and score 115, and I think that they keep this game close or win this game, like, we're still looking at a potential under, right? So I'm going to lean slightly towards the under. I think I like the Utah side of things more than I do the total in this game. Now, couple player props I like. I want to see what OG Anunoby's lines are, because I do think that he's going to be a little bit of a usage uptick when it comes to Randle being out. So I would look at him, but we don't have lines right now. But then a player prop that I really like is going to be John Collins over 12.5 points. He's hit this in 7 of his last 10 games. He's hit it in 4 straight games. Last 3 games here, 22, 20, and 15 points. This Knicks team, obviously a good defense. I just got finished saying that, but Hartenstein is still on the injury report, and I don't know if he's going to play. He probably ends up playing tonight, because I believe, I feel like he's going to play tonight, obviously. Still is a game-time decision with it being a back-to-back and all that, but nonetheless, I think John Collins is more mobile than Hartenstein, and we've seen John Collins have some success against sort of those centers that are a little bit stronger and more brutes. Now, I would say that Hartenstein's on the lesser end of the, I guess if we say like the Nurkic's or the Valanciunas, right? He's more mobile than those guys and definitely versatile, but I still think John Collins edges him out in terms of that sort of, quickness and everything like that. And I also don't mind John Collins to make a 3 today. So he's not always going to shoot, but he'll give you, at some times, he'll give you, 3 to 5 attempts, and I don't mind him making one of those. So 2 John Collins potential plays in today's game today. How many times can I say today in a sentence? In fact, if you made it this far into the video, comment today in the comments, because I just said John Collins today could make a 3 today in today's games. Today. Yikes. I got something wrong with me, I swear to God. Comment today if you guys made it this far into the video and just watching an absolute meltdown. All right, Toronto taking on Chicago. Another weird one. We've had like a few days in a row of just weird NBA games, or not sexy games to look into. This one is a game that I'm not all that fond of, but the line is pretty damn big, and this Chicago team does not Like they haven't impressed me that much. Like they did just beat Toronto by I think it was 5 or 6 points last week. So maybe a week and a half ago. So maybe they have that going for them. But still, like 6.5 points seems like it's a little bit too much. The problem is you're looking at a Toronto team that just is struggling. To some degree, but they actually are positive against the spread this season, which is weird because they're 6-17 on the road, but 12-11 against the spread. So you look at them from, like I said, their struggle bus perspective, they're covering more games than they are winning, but even still, they've lost 9 of their last 10 games. It's hard to kind of count on them and bet on them, but a good example of a game in which they were 6.5 point dogs was their last game against Atlanta. Atlanta only wins that game by 1 point, so like they covered. So I'm going to lean Toronto. I don't know if it's worthy of the psycho alert alarm, but like it seems crazy to me because this is a team that just struggles away from Toronto. But against the spread, I guess you can make the argument that because they're getting large numbers, they're covering some of it. But like even still, like I say that they're covering more than they're winning. They've only covered in 4 of their last 10, right? So it's only because they've been losing so many games that they're against the spread looks okay. So I don't know if this makes its way into the final plays, guys. But another play I don't mind is going to be the under 226. Probably like that more than I do the spread in this spot. Both of these teams playing with, I guess Toronto playing with kind of middle of the pack pace, but Chicago we know is going to play slow. Now, they've kind of upticked their pace, if that's even a way of saying that. Like they have started to play in their last 10 games or so a little bit faster than normal. They were the 30th ranked team for a while in pace, right? Now if you look at it, the Chicago Bulls ranked 21st, so they've definitely upped their pace a little bit, but against a team like Toronto, are they really gonna run and gun? I don't think so. I still think that this is a game that finishes in the low to mid 220s, which if you get to that mid 220s, obviously you're looking at a potential sweat there, but I'll still lean towards the under. Now, in terms of player props here, really nothing jumped off of the page to me in this game. Like I said, it's kind of sort of in my mind a messy game. I'd like to look at DeMar DeRozan props, but the dude has burned us a few times this season. He's cashed for us a few times, but nothing consistent, and that really is the position in which the Toronto Raptors are struggling against as of late. He starts at the power forward right now, so yeah, I just really can't get behind much player prop action in today's game. So apologies there, guys. It just kind of is what it is. All right, to cap off the NBA slate here, we have the Warriors taking on the Sixers. Weird spread here. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, questionable on the injury report, and it's almost like this line would tell me that they aren't playing. Now, the Sixers are on a back-to-back. I doubt the books would slip up this badly and realize that, and not realize that Embiid didn't play, Maxey didn't play. So if those guys are playing tonight, then this in theory isn't a back-to-back, right? So I'm a little weary as to why this line is where it is at 4.5. It's either Embiid's not playing or the books messed up and are idiots, which the latter is less likely than the former, right? So if Embiid's not playing, I don't really love this spot. If Embiid and Maxey are good to go, I like Philly in this spot. I think they get up for big games, and though Golden State has kind of been on the struggle bus this season, they still have that vibe of like, hey, we're in Golden State, let's beat Steph, blah, 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 a la that Lakers game, right? It's like the Lakers shouldn't be parading that they beat the Warriors. Like, they just shouldn't, because the Warriors aren't that good of a team this year. 19-23, they've had their struggles. 19-22-2 against, like, they really shouldn't be celebrating that, yet you would have thought that this Lakers team just won the championship in that double overtime thriller. So I still think that has the big game vibes when you play in Golden State. And Joel Embiid loves those big games, right? So if he's good to go, and again, like, he's on the injury report, it's questionable. Who knows if he ends up getting to go? But I like that spot. If he gets ruled out, which again, I'm feeling like this line would say that he's going to get ruled out, and so is Maxey. Honestly, I probably stick away from it. I was going to say maybe I lean Warriors, but this Warriors team is tough to bet on, right? Like, tough to bet on. They haven't covered in 4 of their last 5 games. The one game they did was Denver, so maybe they do. They haven't covered in, I think it's 2 of their last 3, and the one game they did was I don't have it. It was a mediocre team. Denver was the Sixers spot. So I do think that this is just a spot in which we probably stay away if Embiid is not good to go. Kind of regardless of if Embiid's playing or not, I don't think that the over is a bad look in this spot. You see a Golden State team in which their scoring, like, as of late, has been crazy. 134, 133, 144. Their defense in the last 2 games here, 134, 145. They've allowed over 130, and I believe it's like 6 of their last 10, or at least 6 of their last 10 have gone over 120 in terms of points allowed. Philadelphia, yes, they should struggle without Embiid and everything like that, but if this game's up tempo, I don't think it's going to struggle to get to that number. But again, we want to keep an eye on the injury report. I hope the Sixers aren't going down the path of kind of what the Lakers do, which is every game Embiid's now going to be questionable and all that, because that's going to get annoying to bet. But let's keep an eye on that. If Embiid's at shoot around, we might even take a gamble on the line or something like that. Maxey as well. So keep an eye on the injury report. Obviously, nothing really to look into from player props because none on the Sixers are on the board right now. And Golden State, I don't really love too much because we also don't know the matchup they're going to get. So unfortunately, another game in which we don't have many player props to discuss. But hopefully we gave you guys at least a little bit of something in that game. Again, if Embiid's good to go, I like the Sixers on the spread as well as the money line, to be completely honest, because I do think that if Embiid plays, this is kind of a big spot for him. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button for me as well. Get those right of the days in the comments. And again, if you made it this far, you're a real one, guys. Go ahead and check out the Fade Me store. You can get some of the Fade Me branded stuff or that new collection that I'm really excited about, the Gambler collection. It's kind of like you could wear that out in public, and if someone sees that, they're like, all right, not everyone knows what GMBLR type means, but if you know, you're kind of like, hey, shout out to you, man. You're a gambler too, right? But guys, go ahead and check it out. Again, fademe.store. It's the only thing I have to plug in today's video. Personal brand. Helps me out if you guys do go and check it out. But yeah, appreciate all the support as of late. We had almost 600 people in the live stream last night. Live. Damn. I think it was like 4,000 people in and out. So you guys absolutely are crushing it. So appreciate the hell out of that. And we'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.